everyone. So today we're going to be making the key block. I've decided not to do the templates this time, and the reason being is these would create 4 Y seams on each one of these segments, and it's way easier to snowball a corner, so that's what we're going to do. So this block has 4 different colors of purple and a background. So you will need to cut 2 squares that are 2 inches square for each color purple, as well as 2 B squares out of each purple. And then, so you'll have 2, 2, 2, and 2 of A and B. I'm calling A piece a 2-inch square, and the B piece is actually a 1 1/4 inch square. And those are going to be your snowball corners. But ignore this, we're going to make squares. And additionally, you're going to cut 8 squares of background pieces that are 2 inches. This is going to be a relatively simple block compared to what we've done in the last few weeks. So here are my purples that I have selected, and according to that, they're kind of gradient, so whenever I install these, I'm going to make them swirl from dark to light. Let's go ahead and get started on this, and I'm going to take all of my background pieces and all of my snowball pieces. I'm going to go ahead and make my snowballs. Now, how do you make it? How do you snowball a corner? Well, we've done it before. A lot of you can draw a line on this. I actually have a ruler for this, and I tell you what, I'm going to put it on that corner. So when you put it perfectly on the corner, you're going to draw a line from corner to corner, and then you're going to sew just on that side of the line. But I've got my template. I've got my folded corners ruler where I can pre-trim this. So if you have this ruler, you line up everything all the way around. And I need to get a new ruler because mine's wore. You make your cut, and then that's a perfect sew for your 1/4 inch. And then you come back and you trim these back down to 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of these and then come back for the layout. Alright, and I'm just going to press. So from the matching pairs, I'm going to make a match. For this one, I'm going to press up. For the ones that'll be next to it, I'm going to press towards the background. And what I'm trying to do is offset those seams so they're less bulky whenever I go to assemble the block. Alright, if that makes sense. Hopefully I've done this right. So this is going to make a bow tie block. Yeah, it doesn't matter which way you press them. I don't know what I was thinking. Alright. And now basically I'm going to sew my 4 patches, and each time whenever I press these, I'm going to press to the dark side. But here's my layout.
I'm so glad we did not do this in Y seams. Okay.
Again, pressing to the dark side. Alright, so how we're pressing, the seams here and here are going to interfere with one another. There's nothing we can do about it. So I'm going to go ahead and now sew my bow ties together, and we're almost there. I am going to go ahead and spin my seams. This may be how we get around some of the seam bulkiness. And after I have these pressed, I'm going to make sure that they measure 3.5 inches and trim them down as necessary. I failed to tell you after you do your corners to go ahead and trim those blocks down to 2 inches and make sure that they measure 2 inches. I know some of my blocks, they were just shy, which is fine. It gets lost in the seam allowance. Popping those stitches so I can get that to lay flat. Alright, now let me press these. Okay, I chose a loud background just because I never ever get to use this background. It is a striped background, and when you cut the pieces up, they're small. They lose their, I guess, background quality. So I went ahead and used it in this block. Have fun with selecting your fabrics on this. Alright, so yes, just as I thought, these seams are going the same direction. Because of that, I'm going to pin. And, oh, I forgot to measure to see if my blocks measure 3.5 inches. Let me see that. Alright, I have trimming to do. I'm going to pick a corner and I'm going to whack off the other 2 sides. We know our corners of this block are going to be true because they were once squares, so it doesn't matter which corner you choose. You can choose a white corner or a color corner. That one's pretty close. Let's see. I know just a little bit to trim right here. And as you go in this quilt along, you're going to find, because you're messing with such small pieces and being real fiddly with them, that your accuracy is going to improve. And you are going to continue forth in your quilting journey with a more accurate, with better accuracy for building your blocks. When I did the 365 quilt block challenge that Catherine Kerr puts on, that is what my takeaway was. I thought I was a really good quilter before that series, but what I learned is a whole lot. I learned a whole lot just in the first few weeks, and that again is always open, and it is starting up if you want to start at the beginning of the year. It's definitely a skill builder. There's no applique in it. There's a bunch of Y seams and mitered corners. Alright, so those seams, I'm going to try and make those meet. I've got my blocks trimmed, and now I'm going to sew. Alright, for the top section, or top half of my block, I'm going to press the seam this way. And on the bottom section, I'm going to press it that way. Alright, all of these seams are all going the same way, so I'm going to pin. It will help me. And nesting that center seam is really going to help. Alright. Time to sew. I've spinned that center seam. You could press this open, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to give this a good final press, and then we're going to come back and measure and make sure that it measures 6.5 inch square and trim is necessary. Okay. No trimming. Yay! How'd you like this block? This one's an easy block. You can certainly, we all have enough scraps to make a whole quilt full of this. This would be fun to do in a whole quilt. I enjoyed picking out the fabrics for this just because I love to pick gradient fabric out. The background fabric enhanced it. I loved this block, making this block. Thanks for watching.